2014, apart from this 2% target that was demanded from member states, there was also another target on 20%. That 20% of those 2% of military spending should be simply spent on arms acquisitions. Otherwise, in many NATO countries, a large part of that money was spent on
salaries, pensions, and these sorts of things, which of course is all very noble, but really what you want it to be spent on are active military personnel and lots and lots of equipment. Because if you want to, I know the famous saying, if you want peace, prepare for war. And I think we have been very complacent in Europe over recent years. And it's funny, there's this sort of schizophrenia in the European Union, which on the one hand seems to be very anti-American in some ways, and yet apes everything the Americans do. There's coming into this new passport system where you'll have to fill in a piece of paper to come into the European Union just because the Americans do it. And these sort of talks about a European army. Well, you don't need a European army when you have NATO.
With this European army, it's also very worrying that we have elements within NATO who, it seems that they keep trying to undermine this relationship with America.
You mean the French?
Yes, especially the French.
Especially the French, yes.
There are some forces in Germany that are trying to do the same, but the French are probably the most clear example. It has to be stated clearly that without American support, Ukraine would have fallen in 2022.
Without a doubt.
There was, France did practically nothing initially, Germany also nothing. Today, they're still not doing anything similar on the level with the US, and yet Macron has the gall, no pun intended, to go to China and say that that we shouldn't have too close relations with the US.
Yes, well, the French like to get their surrender in early.
And now, just a few days ago, again, he told European states that we absolutely should not rely on the Americans for air defense systems.
Well, that's fine.
We should not buy American, we should buy French, apparently.
Yes, buy French.
European, meaning French. Or
well, of course.
At least a large part of the production taking place in France.
But you're right, this undermining just encourages people like Putin, as we've discussed before on this program, to assume that we no longer have the willpower. Because I think it's all very good having the people and having the equipment. But the thing which is always very important is the morale, the willpower.
Yes.
And I was very encouraged, as we've discussed before, to see at the time of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, how united Europe was very quickly. I was expecting there to be the usual sort of, let's send Putin an angry tweet, and that'll send him scuttling back home. There was, and I think it took him by surprise as well.
When it comes to the morale, again, these countries, France, Germany, they are unfortunately the ones that, when you look at these surveys that are being, taking place, when they ask people if they are willing to take up arms to defend their country in case of an attack, the figure is very low in many countries in Western Europe. The real shining examples, Finland comes in at the highest with 83% of the people being ready to fight.
And they've probably been 83%, probably been trained to fight as well.
Exactly.
Like Switzerland, of course, another country where everybody is, although it's a neutral country, they are actually militarily quite well equipped, and everybody is sitting at home with an automatic weapon ready to spring into action should the need arise.
Exactly. The Greeks also have a very high figure, somewhere around 80%.
They have a huge army in Greece, funny enough.
And a huge army that has been well maintained for many years. They've been above the 2% target before there even was a target. They have an enormous fleet of tanks. Their air force is significant. The Greeks are not to be underestimated. But even in countries such as Poland, unfortunately, we're very far away from that 80%. We're somewhere around 55 or 60, if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, there is some form of fatalism in Poland, in which some people believe that either the state is mismanaged, or that with our history that has been so unfortunate, there is no way that we can ever succeed in anything. Unfortunately, it's not as high as it should be, yet it is higher than in some of these countries in Western Europe.
Adam, I'm going to have to ask you to pause there. As usual, we've run out of time, but we'll pick it up next time. There we are. I've interrupted Adam almost in mid-sentence, but fear not, if you join us next time, as we hope you will, we'll pick up the story. In the meantime, thank you very much and look forward to seeing you next time on Poland Daily History.